I have a good amount of knives. I have some nice knives too, but my most used knife might actually surprise you. And that's this Gerber. This knife I have been using and carrying around for a few years, and I just keep going back to this one. I use this for everything, just throw it in my pocket, mainly for work. I'm using it all the time, you know, whenever I need a knife, even doing stuff you would probably not want to do with a knife. This one does the job. This is a Gerber knife, and I got it as part of a package deal from Home Depot years ago. It came with a machete, and I've just been using it since then. It's called the Paraframe. There's different models of the Paraframe, but if you look up the code on there, it will come up as a model of the Paraframe. I've seen a lot of people hate on this knife. It's definitely a bit of a cheaper knife, but of the cheaper knives I used, like I said, I keep coming back to this one because it just gets the job done. So let me go over some things I like about it and some negatives about the knife as well. One of the biggest negatives of the knife is the steel used. The knife steel used, if you can find it, Gerber says it's surgical stainless steel, which is really just a fancy way of saying we found the junkiest knife steel possible and threw it into this knife. That's really what it means. The steel on this is really bad. I don't even know what it is, but it doesn't really even matter to me for how I use it. It doesn't hold an edge well. It's a bit softer. But I'll say one thing, which is actually a positive. Because the edge retention is not good on this knife, it actually helped me learn how to sharpen knives better. I would have to sharpen this thing every so often, you know, because it just didn't hold an edge well, but that really helped me with my skill to sharpen. This knife can go from dull to shaving sharp in less than a minute on a coarse stone. It's really that easy to sharpen this. So why do I like this knife so much for EDC over other cheaper knives? So to start, carrying it is pretty easy. It's pretty lightweight, but mainly it's super thin, so it goes in your pocket very nicely. You can put it in your pocket, it's nice and slim, just tucks down nice and easy. As well, the pocket clip's pretty nice. There is a little bit sticking out. A deep carry pocket clip would have been nicer, but the pocket clip's not bad. It slips in your pocket nicely. And they also have this little indent in the handle that allows you to put it in the pocket easier. The thumb studs are pretty wide, especially because the knife is thin. The thumb studs stick out nicely. It's super easy to open it up. And it's also really easy to close all with one hand, which I really value in a pocket knife. It's all metal construction, which actually makes it feel really sturdy, along with a frame lock. You can see the handle acts as part of the handle there, and the lockup is really good. A tiny bit of side-to-side movement, no front to back. It is pretty solid. That whole metal construction does add to it feeling really solid. I really like the blade shape on it. This is that hybrid style clip drop point, which I really am a fan of. It's one of my favorite blade shapes. Also, the finish of the knife. I've used this knife for a long time and it's gone through a lot, but it doesn't show the wear that much. If you look up really closely, you can see some scratches, but it doesn't really show the wear that much because of the finish, and that's pretty cool. It's not uncomfortable in the hand. It's not the most comfortable, but it's not too bad. It does what I need it to do. It's nothing fancy, but it doesn't have to be. This knife, when I'm using it for everything, I really like more expensive knives. I like more expensive steels, but I've been using this for a few years and it's done fine. Yeah, the edge retention is not as good like I said, but you can literally sharpen it in a minute on a stone, right? And that actually teaches you how to sharpen better too. The knife's pretty junky. I'll say it. It's junky, but for a junky knife, it's a pretty good junky knife. People hate it, but I'm telling you right now, I've been using it. Now, I only have one example of this knife, so maybe a couple other knives were very junky, but in my experience, this knife has done really, really well for me. Also, initially when I got the knife, I thought this would be a problem when I sharpen it and you can get your finger in here and cut it, but it's never been a problem for me. It's never been a problem. I never get my fingers in there ever when I'm grabbing the knife out of my pocket or anything, so that's never been a problem, but that was something I was a little bit concerned about. But I'll tell you what, you can say what you want about the knife. I've been using it. I like it. I will continue to use this knife. I don't even know what the price of them are. Might be $10 or something like that. But this would probably end up being my most used knife. It's definitely the knife I've carried the most out of everything. Let me know what your most carried knife is, the one you use for work, because I'm willing to bet a lot of people, even with more expensive knives, end up using a cheaper knife like this just because it gets the job done. You don't care about it too much. And that's that. So thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.